Welcome to the Midnight Library. I see you found your way here, despite the hour. Tell me, what time is it where you are? And where are you listening from?
People think that being alone is a choice. It wasn't. For me, I've always been that guy. The one sitting alone in the cafeteria, nose buried in a book, pretending I didn't notice the stares or the whispers. I wasn't bullied because I looked weird. No, I was just different, quiet. I liked computers more than parties and math more than flirting. I never played sports. The last time I played basketball in high school, I ended up in the hospital with a bloody nose and a mild concussion. That was my first and last attempt at fitting in. I spent most of high school in the library, where books didn't mock you or call you names. Where silence wasn't awkward. It was safe. But things changed when I got accepted to university abroad. A full scholarship. New city, new country, new start. I swore I'd try to be different this time. I didn't want to be the lonely kid anymore. The university I got into was one of those old, ivy-covered, perched on the edge of a quiet town. It was surrounded by thick woods and stone buildings with tall windows and wooden staircases that creaked when you climbed them. The university provided dorms for first years, compact shared spaces that came with just the basics, a pair of metal bunk beds, a long wooden desk in the middle, 2 chairs, and a small shared closet. Nothing fancy, but better than what I thought. The window overlooked a gloomy courtyard where old vines curled up the bricks like claws. And that's where I met Eric. He was everything I wasn't. Confident, charismatic. He asked questions, listened, shared his playlists, his snacks, even his stories about his younger sister, his sweet mom, and his dad, who was the town's police chief. He treated me like a friend. Soon, I was hanging out with him and his group. There were 6 of them in total. Students from different faculties. Funny, chill, smart. I couldn't believe how easy it felt. How easy they made it feel. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. It was a Thursday when Eric leaned over our shared desk and said, "We're planning a camping trip this weekend, Pine Creek Forest, just one night. You in?" I hesitated. I'd never been camping before, but then I remembered this was supposed to be the new me, so I said yes. We packed tents, snacks, marshmallows, flashlights, and a portable speaker. The ride was full of music and laughter. I watched the trees blur past, and for the first time in a long time, I felt light. The forest was stunning. Towering pines, the scent of earth and moss, sunlight slanting through branches like golden threads. We set up camp in a small clearing, laid out sleeping bags, built a fire pit. We told stories, grilled sausages. Someone pulled out a guitar. We laughed under the stars, surrounded by the crackle of fire. It felt like a scene from a movie. Until it didn't. Eric suddenly grew distant. He stared at the fire too long. His smile lingered too wide. The others, once chatty and cheerful, became oddly synchronized, moving the same, speaking less, exchanging strange glances. At one point, someone whispered something I didn't catch, and the rest started repeating it under their breath, over and over again, like a chant. I laughed nervously and asked what it was. They all looked at me blankly. Then Eric smiled. "It's just local tradition," but his voice sounded wrong. I should have left then, but I didn't. Around midnight, they stood up, all of them, and motioned for me to follow. Eric led the way with a lantern. We walked deeper into the woods, away from the tents, the light, the warmth. Eventually, we reached another clearing. The trees bent inward, forming a near-perfect circle. Stones arranged in patterns I didn't understand littered the forest floor. In the center, they stood, surrounding Eric, and then they knelt. Eric stood tall in the middle, arms outstretched. They murmured the same words from before, faster this time, louder. The firelight flickered, casting shadows on their faces. Shadows that didn't quite match their bodies. I froze. My pulse was hammering in my ears. They weren't just playing. They weren't drunk. They were worshiping him. Eric turned toward me. His eyes were gleaming, but not with kindness. "You wanted to belong, Nathan," he said softly, "and now you do." I backed away, slowly. No one moved to stop me. They just kept chanting, louder, faster. Then I ran. Branches tore at my arms. Roots grabbed at my ankles. I didn't care. I ran until I couldn't hear the chanting anymore. I ducked behind a fallen tree, chest heaving, sweat dripping, hands shaking. I pulled out my phone. No signal, of course not. And even if I could call, Eric's father was the police chief. Who would believe me? So I stayed there, curled up between ferns and dirt, listening, waiting, praying they wouldn't find me. I didn't sleep, not even a blink. When the sky finally lightened, I stood up. My legs were sore, my shirt was torn, but I didn't care. I walked, stumbled, followed the light until I reached the road, and by some miracle, a car passed, a woman heading into town. She looked concerned, but I told her I'd gotten lost hiking. I didn't want to explain. I couldn't. The moment I got back to the dorm, I packed my things. Eric never came back, neither did the others. Their dorms were emptied the next day. No explanation, no questions. I requested a room transfer immediately. It's been 3 months. I still hear that chanting, sometimes in my dreams. No one else talks about them. It's like they were never here, but I know what I saw. And I know they're still out there.
Another chapter closed. Leave the candle lit in the comments and tell us what part of the story stayed with you.